So let's start with problem number 2. So at the top of the problem, we can see that they're giving us information about Eli. Eli lives 3 3/4 miles from the library. And they also give us a nice drawing that shows the distance from Eli's house to the library. So let's read the problem. It says, he decided to bike from his home to the library to return some books. Eli biked 1 1/10 miles when he remembered that he had left a book at home. So he biked back home to get it. After getting the book from home, he biked to the library. What was the total distance in miles Eli had biked when he finally reached the library? So let's start off by writing an sentence. And you can see that I have the sentence, Eli biked miles total. So now we need to think about this problem. We need to process the problem and decide what it is that we need to do with it. So I know that he went from his house to the library, but it also tells me that when he got 1 1/10 miles away from home, he realized he left a book and he had to go back home to get it. So let's draw this on our picture. He starts at his house and he goes and he travels 1 1/10 miles and decides he needs to go back home to get the book. So we can see that he actually biked that 1 1/10 miles twice. He went out away from his house and then he had to return. So when I look at this, not only did he bike the original distance for the problem, but he did this extra when he had to go back home. So I know that I have a part whole model. I need to add all of these distances together. I need to add 1 1/10 plus 1 1/10 plus 3 3/4 miles. Now remember, when we're looking for math and we're looking to do math, we're looking for friendly numbers. And I can see that 1 1/10 and 1 1/10 are going to be very easy to add because I do not have to find the common denominator for them. So let me go ahead and add 1 1/10 plus 1 1/10. My wholes would give me 1 plus 1 is 2 and 2/10. But I still need to add that 3 3/4. This is where I'm going to have to find that common denominator. So I'm going to look at my 10 and I'm going to look at my 4. And remember, I want to find the lowest common number. I'm going to count by my 10, find my multiples of 10, and then check to see if each one will work with 4. 10's the bigger number, so I'll just check with that. So the first multiple is 10, which 10 divided by 4 is not a whole number. My next multiple or count by 10 number is 20, and 20 does work with 4 because 20 divided by 4 is 5. So now I found my least common denominator. So I'm going to take my 2 2/10 and I need to add 3 3/4. And I know now that my common denominator is 20. So let me start by finding my equivalent fractions with a common denominator of 20. So to change 2/10 to 20, I need to multiply 10 times 2, and I also need to multiply 2 times 2, because whatever I do to the denominator, I must do to the numerator to keep my fractions equivalent. So 2 times 2 would give me 4. I still need to carry over my whole number. I have 2 4/20. So now let's look at our 3 3/4. To change that, I have to multiply 4 times 5 to get the 20 in the denominator. That means I need to multiply 3 times 5, and I would now have 15/20 as my equivalent fraction to 3/4. And I need to carry over my whole number. So now that I have common denominators, I'm all set to add. I can add my numerators. 4/20 plus 15/20 will give me 19/20. And adding my whole numbers, I'll have 2 plus 3 is 5. And I find out that Eli biked 5 and 19/20 miles total.